Hey guys, it's Jackie from Homeschool Hangout by Nerd Family, and today we are talking about how privately homeschooled kids can get a work permit in the state of California. If you like these California-specific videos, do me a favor, give this a thumbs up, like, shout out on social media, whatever. Come join our Facebook group, Homeschool Hangout by Nerd Family. The link and all the details will be at the bottom, and let's get into this. To start with, before anyone asks how I know this because I've spent hours on the phone with my local school district, who then got off the phone and spent time going and finding their bosses to come back to me to give me the California law on how your homeschooler can get a work permit. And I say this because I've issued 3 of them. To start with, when my oldest child was looking for a part-time job, somebody says, well, I just go to my local school and they give me a work permit. Now, they live in a very flexible district here in the area, not my district. And that was where I started. I started calling the high school down the street, and because it was summer or going into fall, they never seemed to answer. So I thought, you know what, I'll just call my local school district. And I said, I got a kid who's a senior who needs a part-time job, and I want him to have a part-time job. What do I need to do? Well, will the local high school give me a work permit? And they go, no. Why would they do that? I said, well, because I heard in the homeschool rumor mill that da-da-da-da-da. They go, 1, that school's not in our district. But 2, when you are issued a work permit by whatever school, you are committing to make sure that student keeps up their grades, their attendance, and all the schooly things that you need to do. Okay, that sounds great, but how do I get a work permit? So we went through it, and I'm going to walk you through. One of the biggest issues you're going to have, front-loading it with the big problem, you are not legally allowed to sign a work permit. No parent in the state of California is. This is how you prevent parents from making kids go to work and working obscene hours just to take their money. Yeah. But let's get into what you have to do. So what you have to do first is you go and you download some forms. Now, don't download them, don't print them out. You can fill them in a bit online or on your computer and then print them. But you're going to have to fill out 3 forms. And one form, you submit this every time you do a work permit. And this is a statement of intent for self-certification for permit to work and employ. And this is a CDE form B18-8. There will be links either in the bottom or in the blog post. Basically, what this says, and this person from the school district really walked me through what I'm committing to. I, as a school administrator, am committing to making sure that this child fulfills the law. And what do I mean by that? There's a list of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 different sets of regulations that I read before I signed this, because I'm neurotic and I read everything before I sign it, of different labor codes, different child labor laws, family labor laws, coding, all of it. Down to the fact that I know that you can run one kind of combine and not another as a minor. You basically commit that you've read all of this and that you're aware of what the laws are. You're going to make sure they're fulfilled. And you as a school are going to make sure that your student fulfills their academic obligations before they fulfill their work obligations. So in other words, your kid starts flunking all their classes, you probably shouldn't let them go to work. Also, there are rules like, this is where this gets fun. They are not allowed to work on a school day, before a school day, more than 4 hours. Now, if it's a non-school day before a school day, they can work. Yes. Which means for us, because we pick and choose what our school days are, my daughter right now has 2 jobs, and on those days that she works more than 4 hours, we are choosing to make the next day not a school day. Now, that only happens 1 day a week. Not a big deal, but that's what we've chosen to do. It also means that you're aware of like how late they're allowed to work, what times they have to be home, all that good stuff. For us, we have chosen to make our rules that she can't work past 10 because when they're driving as a minor, you can't be driving after 11. So that's what our rules are. You can adapt these rules based on your schedule and your student and all that good stuff. Side note, did you know there's no limit on how many hours they can work or how many work permits they can have at once? Just a little side note, because last year I had a child who decided to work 2 jobs seasonally. And so their school didn't go all the way through December, but at one point they were working training hours on one day, on like Saturdays. And I think Nerd High was working at Michael's during the week and was working at Carl's Jr. on Saturday. So she never like had big conflicting days, but she technically was working at 2 places, so we did 2 work permits. So that's basically what the certification is. And you, as the school administrator or principal, can sign that. And you send in a copy. Keep copies of everything. Keep copies of everything. Next, you print out a CDE form B11. And what that is it is a statement of intent to employ a minor, a request for a work permit, and a certificate of age. So this is a super, super easy form. If anyone wants me to actually go through these forms online step by step, let me know and I'll do another video. And it basically asks for their school name, their names, and then there's a section to be filled out by the employer. And it's like how much they expect to work, what the business is and everything. And then for authorized work permit issuer only, which is me, I verify their age. So in case you don't know how old your kid is, you know, all that good stuff. It does ask for proof of minor's age evidence type. And I went birth certificate because it's in my drawer. And you keep a copy of that. Now, and then we get to the last one, which is the actual permit to employ and work, or a CDE form B14. This is where things get a little tricky. I fill it all out. Work permit expires, you know, it always says that they have to expire 5 days after the opening of the next succeeding school year. And it says like time, are you giving them full time? Are you giving them workability, different, whatever kind of thing it is. You fill it all out, but then we get to issuing authority's name and title. Print, issuing authority's signature. Don't sign it. What do? You get a friend to sign. Now, in our case, what we did is we got a friend who literally has employed our child to babysit. And the first year, we did not include her on our affidavit count. If you've already submitted your affidavit, don't worry about it. But like for us this year, we knew that we were going to need her to sign it. So I included her as a half person, not a half person, a half teacher. And her title is work experience teacher. That's her entire title. And she signs it. I recommend it's somebody you know. Because if they ever do check on it, it is somebody though who can say, I know that this kid's still in school. I know this kid's doing this. So pick somebody who knows your family. That's it. A copy of this will go to the employer, and a copy of this will go in your little pack of 3 forms. You will mail it to your district. Now, why mail it to the district? Because I know that there are other people who've said, oh yeah, you just issue a work permit and don't worry about it. Why do you have to issue it? Send it to your district. You do that to protect your employer. So, for example, when my oldest wanted to get a job at Pottery Barn, part of my parents like, we don't know that we can employ a homeschooler because can you get a work permit legally? Well, yes. They're like, oh, well, so if somebody looks it up, it'll be there. Basically, if they decide to raid a company, and this does happen, there have been, was it Chipotle or Cold Stone or somebody found that they were violating minor work laws based on some of these issues. They go to the district and they say, hey, Pottery Barn says they've got a kid who lives here who's working for them. Oh yeah, here's their work permit. They don't come to you as the issuer necessarily. They might, but they also go to the district. And if you do not send that in and there's ever any kind of audit of your child's employer, you could be costing them tens of thousands of dollars. So treat the people who employ your kids a little nice and send in your work permit to your district. If they have any questions about why they got this work permit, they can follow up with you. I don't send a letter of explanation. I don't send anything. I never get any follow-up. I never get asked any questions. I just send it. And if you need to look it up, you can send it to your district site and just put work permits on it. And that's all you do. It is super easy, super, super easy. This is one of the reasons that some people cite wanting to send their kids to public school so they can do things like work permits. Well, there is no reason to do it for that reason. I know. I'm a poet and didn't know it. If you have any more questions about this or want an actual walkthrough of the forms line by line, do me a favor, let me know in the comments. Any other specific California or not specific California homeschool videos you'd like me to make, do me a favor, leave that down below. Come join us over on Facebook. You can find me personally, Nerd Mom on Twitter. You can also find Nerd Family on Twitter and Nerd Family on Facebook. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.